Welcome back to the Bill of Rights show on Ndtv Hindu with me, Kuku Alex. This is where we tell you about your rights as a consumer and how you can exercise them. The right medical treatment is something that each of us is entitled to. Quality is essential for the safety of the patient and the complete curing of an ailment. Bertola reports about the post-operative problems faced by one patient, which brings into focus the very question of whether doctors and patients follow proper procedures during the treatment period.
A patient from Kerala was filled with hope when he got himself fitted with an artificial limb. But some days after the treatment in Chennai, the device was dislodged and it was refitted. But the pain that followed forced the patient to ask the doctor for a new device. He was angry and disappointed when the doctor said he would need to pay again.
After considering all the documents and held that the opposite party committed deficiency in service and the opposite party is directed to replace a fresh artificial limb to the complainant within 6 weeks of the order and to pay a sum of rupees 10,000 as compensation and a sum of rupees 2,000 as cost.
Though medical treatment in India is cheaper than in many countries, this case points to whether or not quality gets priority here.
Case of amputation and fixing of artificial limb. Before going for artificial limb, the doctors has to verify whether the artificial limb is suitable for him or otherwise. And once they decided to go for artificial limb, the material used for manufacturing artificial limb is a main criteria while using the artificial limb.
Post-operative care is a major concern, but experts say it is the responsibility of not only the doctor but also the patient to make sure that the medical advice is followed after the operation for a complete cure. In Chennai, Bertola, Ndtv Hindu.
Well, a consumer activist joined us and told us about the various steps that you could take to avoid getting into a similar situation.
First off, when we buy equipment like this, is there a warranty at all that you can
see? There are two kinds of things. One is made of plastic and the other one is the other quality material.
Yes.
I am given to understand in cases like this where plastic material is made or used, the warranty is for 6 months, and for other products from other quality material it is given 1 year.
Right. So is there a legal abiding in such cases? How can you really, what is evidence perhaps in such cases to take it and claim?
See, the treatment given by the doctor is evidenced by the various medical reports or the fixation which is evidenced by his own writing, what has he done on the particular day to the patient.
Yes.
And he will be posting the matter for a review. All these details will help the patient in case if there is any deficiency as arisen in this present case.
Right, sir, but what kind of fault can possibly lie with the doctor? What kind of measures can be taken by the doctor to avoid any sort of misunderstanding probably in the future?
He should have known the patient pretty well and the problem he is suffering from. He should have made the material proper, befitting the patient's requirements after taking appropriate measurements. In this case, it is an artificial limb. He should have taken appropriate measurements to make sure, who should have done a trial run. It is like a dentist fixing your dentures.
Yes.
They take an impression, make out a figure, then they ask you to come on several days after ascertaining everything after their initial trial, then only the fixing starts. In this case, he should have done that previously before fixing it up and ensure that once after fixing up, it stands the time. In this case, on hand, the patient had lost its artificial arm or limb immediately after some time after the fixing, which made him come again, and there was pain which was complained of, which means the fixing was not proper. So the resulting pain, and unfortunately for the redo, the patient had been charged once again, which shows the lapse and a poor cover up.
Right. But when a patient really goes in for a treatment or for fixing like this, we are not, as you know, as normal people, really not aware of what we need to go in under, like maybe an allergy test or things like that. So what could be the specifications we need to be looking out as patients perhaps?
See, in the case of an amputated person like this guy, the measurements basically, what was he suffering from, what had led to the whole thing, what would be the prosthesis that has been being fitted into, would fit in, what kind of material which would prevent him from further agony, because already he has lost one arm or leg or whatever it is. Furthermore, any material that is used will cause an allergy. That could vary from patient to patient. Instead of fixing a plastic which is cheap or at a wide cost, a better proper material if used definitely would have saved the thing, and proper care should be taken to measure the thing, make sure it fits and fits it compact and proper, and if it is done that way definitely such an incident would not have happened.
Right.
Right, but in this particular case, the patient has come all the way from Kerala.
Yeah.
So, you know, there could be some sort of an ambiguity. If not ambiguity, definitely some sort of a light could be shed on what kind of medical history he may have. So, what kind of relevant documents should one take, especially when he's considering overseas travel or maybe from one state to another?
See, basically his entire medical history which led him to the situation. What was the reason for his injury? What was the reason for his amputation? And why was he suggested this fixing of an artificial limb or leg, whatever it is? For what purpose he was diagnosed to have this?
Right.
Right. Also, it also lays with the patient, the responsibility in this case. I mean, not always can you blame the doctor, right? The patient also must take care of himself. Do you believe there's enough of post-operative?
See, the do's and don'ts are always given to the patient. If the material suffers from any irregularity, the patient cannot be blamed. If he does not follow the procedure which is described to the doctor or the do's and don'ts proper, definitely such a thing happens. See, I don't blame both sides for anything. It is bound to happen. Both of them should be careful in handling their own equipment, because one is fixed with the artificial limb and one who fixes up the artificial limb. Care should be taken so that it avoids such complications in future.
Right. So clearly, post-operative care being the responsibility of both the patient and the doctor.
See, it's a plus and minus of both sides. Both of them should take proper care so that the agony is not multiplied.
In case like this, obviously the bottom line is quality is something that you should not compromise on. What are some of the other criteria that a patient should be aware of?
The patient should go to the proper person who deals with it regularly. Okay, let him say what exactly has happened with the entire medical records, which was the cause for this debacle, wherein he had lost his leg or hand.
Yes.
Let him go to tell the doctor, spell out the details of what is capacity to pay and how long can he endure this treatment. Right? Basically, let him permit the doctor to give him the exact details. Let him be a bit probing so that he will get his replacement, though it is artificial, a quality material so that it will be lasting lifelong.
Right, but obviously in a case which is as specialized as this, is information readily available, and how much can you trust doctors? Because in this particular case study, the doctor was the one who wasn't very transparent per se with the patient as he should be ideally.
See, this person should have taken a second opinion after getting the fitting done. After, I do not know that a trial has been effected on the patient before the material was fixed, and what kind of material was used, whether it was quality material, how long it would last, and all those things, aspects have not been covered or don't seem to be asked for. That being the case, the doctor has also been negligent and the patient also has been a bit careless in ascertaining certain details which were necessary for getting a replacement.
Right. So, what would you call this case then? Was it a case of medical negligence, or was this a non-fulfillment of the warranty issue?
Or was it oversight?
See, it is a case where the person suffered from already a loss of his one movable part of the body, either the leg or the hand. He has gone to a doctor who is a specialist in these kind of fields, and this doctor, knowing fully well the requirement of the patient, knowing fully well the condition of the patient, had fixed up an artificial arm or leg which did not even last long. A callous negligence on the part of the doctor, knowing fully well the condition of his patient and having accepted the money for whatever the patient has been asked to pay, and pleasing him for the second time, definitely nothing less than extortion and for a cover up of his own medical negligence, where he gave a poor and improper treatment in not identifying the exact material which would suit and make his patient comfortable.
Right, sir. And finally, what kind of a cap can one put on compensation as far as money is concerned?
See, this one is meager. 10,000 rupees is nothing. They should have given the exact cost of the material and much more, so that no doctor who is dealing in these kind of fields makes it a point to cheat patients when they come to him. See, no, everybody does not lose a leg or hand. When you lost it, it is mobility which is curtailed. Let you be given a proper treatment. Here a patient is willing to pay, let him be given quality treatment. If such a quality treatment is absent, penalize the doctor not only for his negligence but for the endless suffering the patient would undergo and his family would suffer. Compensation should be at a generous expense, not meager.
We head into a break on Bill of Rights, but on the other side, we get you another medical story, this time on Mediclaim. Do stay with us.